Here now with reaction, the author of the best-selling book Treason, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. I wanted to give a history, and you're the historian, of all the times, every election this happens, every confirmation season this happens, and it seems like Jeff Sessions is going to bear the brunt of this tomorrow. And I just wanted to remind people of just how low people will sink in an effort because they have political differences. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think it's amazing how incompetent and lacking in imagination the liberal Democrats have become. I mean, if this is the best they can do, they might as well go home and relax. First of all, as you know, Jeff Sessions not only prosecuted the head of the Ku Klux Klan and won the case, he also got an $8 million judgment against the Klan in Alabama, virtually bankrupting it and driving it out of business. So it's pretty hard to argue that these are the behaviors of somebody who was in any way racist. I also think if you look at his whole career as a senator, it's quite clear that he has been courteous, he has been bipartisan, he has been willing to work with people, as you point out, in getting the former Attorney General approved. You don't get much better than getting Senator Leahy, who himself is pretty liberal, to say that you've been doing a good job on a bipartisan basis. So my guess is these guys are making noise to raise money. They're making noise to appeal George Soros and their left-wing activists. They're making noise in a desperate hope to hold together the African-American community for Democrats. But in the end, it ain't going to work. Jeff Sessions is going to be approved. And then the burden is going to be on the Trump administration to prove that it's committed to a new deal for African-Americans and to prove that it really is concerned about the inner city. I think if that works, then we're in a different world by next year.
Is it fair for somebody like myself to look at Hillary Clinton? She once praised a former Klansman, Robert Byrd, as her mentor. Or, you know, we're playing Senator Kennedy attacking, I think, one of the smartest constitutional minds that could have served on the Supreme Court, Robert Bork. He's a guy that left a woman in a car in Chappaquiddick. And I'm thinking, they get such high praise from Democrats. You can argue, yeah, it happened years ago. But what they're talking about with Senator Sessions happened 30-plus years ago.
Look, nobody in America who's rational is going to look at a 30-year-old joke, first of all, and remember it, and second, think, what do you mean? What are you talking about? We're talking about a U.S. senator reelected again and again by his constituents, a man who is recognized by his colleagues, somebody who has played a major role in a presidential campaign, and the best evidence they can come up with is 30 or 35 years ago? I mean, that's why I said at the beginning here, Sean, what I'm struck with is how brain dead the left is. I mean, it's kind of like the AMC series, The Walking Dead. I mean, these are folks who get up in the morning and walk down the hall yelling racist, 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 or someone. They have about 9 terms they memorized in childhood, apparently, and that's all they got left.
Yeah.
They have no ideas, no solutions, nothing positive, and I think we ought to treat a lot of it, frankly, with derision. This is the behavior of a pathetic generation of left-wingers who have nothing left except chanting old slogans.
Let me ask you this. I'm hearing from conservatives, there's some rumbling. Congress is raising the debt ceiling by $9 trillion over the next 10 years. They're talking about $1 trillion stimulus. I don't know how they're going to pay for it. Senator Rick Santorum brought up the issue over the weekend that he's shocked at this late date Republicans have not coalesced behind a single plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. Are those valid criticisms? Are you worried about any of those issues?
Well, I think they're valid criticisms, although the debt ceiling part, I think, is...
But it's against Congress more.
You have to raise the debt ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also you have to raise the debt ceiling if you don't balance the budget.
$9 trillion?
I would hope that, well, that basically gets them out of doing it again for this entire administration, which is what they want to do. But I think, look, I happen to agree with President-elect Trump. They should be repealing Obamacare piece by piece as they find replacements. I don't think Republicans want to have 23 million people out there worried that they're going to lose their insurance and have Democrats blame Republicans for it. I think there are steps that can be taken. You could take a number of steps right this minute that will move us in the right direction, but it's got to be simultaneously, repeal and replace. It can't be repeal now and hope, trust us, we'll be back in a year, because nobody trusts politicians.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not going to trust. They're going to be anxiety. They're going to be worried the whole time. On the other hand, I do hope that the president-elect is going to take very seriously. He has huge opportunities to move to a balanced budget in his second term if he takes them. And as somebody who, as you know, actually brought about the only 4 balanced budgets in your lifetime, I'm very prepared to sit down with the director of OMB and others and lay out a plan to get to a balanced budget in his second term. I think it takes 5 or 6 years. I think it's doable, particularly if it's tied in with dramatic economic growth, really creating jobs, and moving America forward on a broad front. I think he can do it. That should be their goal.
So for all these years, and we talked a little bit about it last week, all these years the White House has been hacked, Department of Defense has been hacked, the State Department's been hacked, the IRS, the Postal Service, the Office of Personnel Management, 22 million files in 2014 of Americans the Chinese hacked into. Obama never said a word about it. What do you make about this obsession to blame Russia, Iran, China, North Korea? Oh, no, only Russia because it deals with Donald Trump. Why haven't they fixed this problem, knowing for the last decade we were being hacked so often?
Well, let me start and say, I think the intelligence officials should have resigned rather than agree to this kind of a stunt. They have discredited the intelligence agencies. They have weakened their credibility. They have made it harder to get the American people to believe them when they have something serious to say. And it's an absurdity. The President of the United States, President Obama, imposes sanctions a week before he gets a report and then expects us to believe that the report mattered. This whole thing is a political charade. It is designed to allow the left to say that Trump's not really president because the Russians did it. Hillary didn't really lose. The Russians did it. We don't have to rethink our ideology. The Russians did it. And frankly, I think it's just stupid. And I think it's very dangerous for President Obama once again to undermine American security by discrediting the intelligence agencies and asking his hand-picked political appointees to go out there and say things that they can't possibly back up. I mean, these reports are pathetically inadequate, and frankly are so general they don't matter much. We have a real problem with cyber. Don't misunderstand me.
We've had it for a decade.
As you pointed out, the North Koreans, the Chinese, etc. There's a real problem that's worthy of Trump taking it on as a real issue. But what Obama has done is disgraceful.
Well, it even happened in the 2008 election, but nobody wants to even focus on that fact. Mr. Speaker, 100 days are going to be very interesting when they begin, and thank you so much for being with us.
Good to be with you.